course, we do these picks strictly for entertainment purposes, nothing more than that. However, if you did take my picks to the bank, you won some money because I went 6-4 against the spread. I went 2-3 in Big 12 play, but 4-1 outside the Big 12. The coin, by the way, average went 5-5. So overall, I have now extended my lead over the coin by 3 games. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for this week's installment of the Big 12 matchups and then some for the week ending October 30th. Let's begin in the Big 12. Missouri at Nebraska, one of the biggest Big 12 games of the season. Missouri undefeated, highly ranked in the BCS, coming off an upset win over the Sooners. Try to keep any national championship hopes alive, but it won't be easy because they have to go on the road to play the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska once lost this season, but last week offensively was dynamic and on special teams as well in their win in Stillwater over Oklahoma State. Nebraska favored by 7.5. I like the Huskers. Simply put, the home field advantage is going to be key. Plus, Nebraska's defensive line is better than Oklahoma's, so Missouri will have a little bit tougher time in this game offensively than what we saw last week, in which they gave Blaine Gabbert all kinds of time to throw. Nebraska's D-line's simply better. So I will go with Nebraska plus Taylor Martinez. Other than one game this year, he's been, simply put, unbelievable. So I will go with Nebraska minus the 7.5, while the coin likes Nebraska as well. Baylor at Texas. You know times have changed when the Baylor Bears are ranked in the top 25 in football, and the Texas Longhorns are nowhere to be found in the top 25. Regardless of that, Texas is favored at home by 7.5. I picked Texas so many times this year to cover the spread, but I'm tired of picking them. Simply put, they have not been able to put a complete ball game together in recent weeks. Last week, didn't get the offense cranking until the fourth quarter against Iowa State, and it was too late in that stunning loss against the Cyclones. Baylor runs the ball very well, especially with the quarterback Robert Griffin. I don't know if Baylor will win the game, but taking Texas with the points right now is too risky, so give me Baylor plus the 7.5, and the coin, in this case, is going to take Texas. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Yes, Oklahoma State is at a bit of a handicap. Justin Blackman, the nation's best receiver, statistically speaking, won't be playing in this game because of off-the-field issues. The game's in Manhattan, so why am I taking Oklahoma State to cover the 5 points? Simply put, K-State's defense is terrible. I don't know how many times I've said it this year, but Kansas State, too one-dimensional on offense. Great running game. Carson Kaufman, the quarterback, however, stinks for the Wildcats. OSU will probably rely mostly on the ground attack with Kendall Hunter. I think that'll be good enough to get the win in Manhattan. So give me Oklahoma State minus the 5 points. The coin likes Oklahoma State too. Texas Tech at Texas A&M, and I heard that this game's not going to be on television. That's, according to public opinion, how far the teams have fallen if you can't get a regional broadcast for this game. Both teams really not having great seasons, but A&M at home, their offense, I think, will get the job done against Texas Tech. I'll take A&M plus the 7.5, while the almighty coin likes A&M as well. And then finally, Kansas at Iowa State. The Cyclones have to avoid a letdown. Pulled off one of the biggest wins in recent years in that program's history, beating Texas for the first time. Now they're at home against a pathetic team in Kansas. You know what? I'll take Iowa State. I know the spread's 19.5, but Kansas has been bad all year long, and I don't think that the Jayhawks have won a game on the road this year. So give me Iowa State. They have to have the win to get closer to bowl eligibility. They need 2 more wins to go to a bowl. Iowa State minus the 19.5, while the coin likes Kansas. We're going to step outside Big 12 play and go with Michigan State at Iowa, another undefeated BCS team, just like Missouri, going on the road to try to keep any national championship aspirations alive. Iowa, though, you know it's payback for them after losing a close one to Wisconsin last week. I'm going to take the home team. Iowa let me down last week, but I'm going to trust that they won't let me down this time. Michigan State just got by Northwestern the previous week. They won't get past Iowa in this one. So give me Iowa minus the 6.5 points. The coin likes Michigan State. Auburn at Ole Miss. The new #1 BCS team is the Auburn Tigers. Came off a huge victory over previously unbeaten LSU. This is one of those trap games. It's hard to get up for an Ole Miss team that earlier this year lost to Jacksonville State. So you're thinking Auburn's going to win big, right? Emotion plays too big of a factor in this game. Auburn might win this game, but there's no way they get emotionally jacked up to play the Rebels, especially on the road. And remember, not too long ago, Auburn just barely got past Kentucky on the road. So Auburn might win, but I'm going to take the points in this case. Ole Miss plus the 7, and the almighty coin will take Auburn. Oregon at USC. This is another one of those games where you have to watch out if you are the road favorite. Man, there are a lot of undefeated teams this week playing on the road. Oregon is another one. Oregon minus the 7. Oregon too much on offense. USC, their defense, other than the Cal game, has not impressed me at all. I know it's prime time, and I know USC is a tradition power. USC is not as good as Oregon, not as talented as Oregon. Don't have as much on the line as Oregon. So give me the Ducks minus the 7. And the coin will take USC. Florida against Georgia. And you talk about another matchup where the times have changed. Neither team ranked in the top 25. Neither team deserves to be. But the one thing I'll say about Georgia, they had a bad September, but they've only lost one game since their all-everything wide receiver A.J. Green has come back. Georgia has played better in recent weeks. In the meantime, Florida has had a bad October. The cocktail party in Jacksonville, I'll take Georgia minus the 2.5. Florida, simply put, won't have enough offense in this game, and the coin is going to take Georgia as well. Then finally, Utah is at Air Force, the Utes, and again, another undefeated playing on the road. However, Air Force is banged up. The Falcons got walloped at TCU last week. Utah, you know that they've got to have this game in order to make that Mountain West Championship between they and TCU mean a lot nationally. Utah will do it. I remember just a few weeks ago, Utah went on the road to Iowa State and laid 68 points on the Cyclones. I think Utah wins and wins big, especially if they can jump out early. So Utah minus the 7 points. I think this is one of the biggest point spreads that Vegas is off on. So Utah minus the 7, and the coin agrees with me. It likes Utah as well. So the coin and I, by and large, agreed on the ball games. We had a couple of differences, but it looks like I'll maintain my lead over the coin because the two of us had agreed on most everything. So what were your picks for those games this week? We'll review them next week, and we'll pick 10 more games for the first week of November when you join me next time on the Big 12 matchups.